Well, hello and good evening, everyone. We are coming to you from John Cate Field at McBride Stadium here in Richmond, Indiana. We are finally getting set for baseball. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. This is another presentation of Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Well, let's go ahead and tell you what has transpired here at the ballpark so far. We were originally scheduled for a 7:05 start, but then that got knocked back to 7:30 because of a lot of rain, a lot of thunder and lightning that blew through the area. Since then, the fielding crew here at McBride Stadium has been working feverishly to get everything in order. A lot of dirt had to be poured on the infield to dry up some major puddles. Also, a lot of big puddles on the warning track as well. But it looks as though that we will finally be able to play some baseball here in Richmond after a very, very long delay. Going on 8:15 right now, so odds are we're probably not going to get started until 8:20 or so. Riley, you and I were thinking that this game would be canceled, that this game would be postponed, and we would be playing a doubleheader tomorrow. But the lights are on here at McBride Stadium, and it looks like we'll be ready to play some baseball.
Yeah, the field crew here at McBride did a very good job of getting this field ready to go. We saw that there was a lot of rain that transpired in about a 20-minute span. There's standing water everywhere, puddles. But after about an hour or so worth of work, field crew's got this place ready to go.
So let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups for both teams tonight while we have a chance. For Xenia, it'll be Cam Murray leading off and playing in center field. Carson Wright, the left fielder, will bat second. Nick Tuttle, the shortstop, will bat third. Caleb Eater will bat cleanup, and he'll be at first base. The designated hitter, Ryan Burlesman, will bat fifth. Zach Bacon, the second baseman, will bat sixth. Jared Lindsay, the catcher, will bat seventh. Ben Bills, the third baseman, will bat eighth. And Carter Boswell, the right fielder, will bat ninth. And on the mound tonight for the Scouts will be the left-hander, Ryan Moeller. Meanwhile, for the hometown Richmond Jazz, here's what their starting lineup will look like. Batting leadoff and playing in center field tonight for Richmond will be Jacob Burlingame. Batting second and playing at shortstop will be Tommy Bell. The right fielder, Patrick Smith, will bat third. Steve Bennett, the third baseman, will bat fourth. Philip Archer, the first baseman, he will bat fifth. Designated hitter, Bill Cruz, or Kruk, will bat sixth. The catcher, David Maynard, will bat seventh. Robbie McGaha, the left fielder, will bat eighth, and then finally Riley Bertram, the second baseman, will bat ninth. On the mound for the Jazz this evening will be the right-hander Aaron Ernst. So, both teams are in their respective dugouts right now. The umpires have arrived. Home plate umpire, by the way, is Brad Fisher. The man who will be on the bases this evening will be Kyle George. As the sun continues to dip below the horizon, they have turned the lights on here at McBride Stadium as local kids from the Richmond area are running onto the field with members of the Jazz right now. The Scouts donning the light blue jerseys along with gray pants and the customary navy blue cap with the Scout logo on the front. Meanwhile, the Jazz, white pants, orange belts, navy blue jerseys with high vis numbers, light green, light yellow, depending upon your point of view, and Jazz across the front of the jersey. And now we are going to pause with the playing of our national anthem. Xenia Scouts Baseball is on the air. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. Again, thank you so much for waiting along with us. Game that was originally scheduled to start at 7:05, and now we are getting set to get underway. Looks like at about 8:20 here at John Cate Field at McBride Stadium. We are coming to you from Richmond, Indiana, the home of the Jazz. Scouts come into this game with a record of 9-17. They are 10 games back of the Southern Division leading Cincinnati Steam, who are currently 19-7. And the Jazz, they come into tonight's matchup with the Scouts with the exact same record, as well as the same distance from Cincinnati in the Southern Division. So on the mound for the Jazz tonight will be the right-hander, Aaron Ernst. Ernst going through his warm-up tosses. He is a right-hander, as this field is now completely covered by shadows. The lights have been turned on here at McBride Stadium, so that will definitely help with the visibility tonight. The defense behind Ernst looks like this. Philip Archer will be the first baseman. Second baseman will be Riley Bertram. Shortstop is Tommy Bell. Third baseman is Steve Bennett. And then in left field, Bobby McGaw. Center fielder, Jacob Burlingame. And the right fielder, Patrick Smith. Again, Bill Krul is the designated hitter. And Ernst is the man on the mound throwing, and Ernst throwing to Damon Maynard, who is the catcher tonight for the Jazz. And the first batter that Ernst will face from the Scouts batting order, Cam Murray, who is having such a great year that he was recently selected as a Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League All-Star. And the pitch to Murray is inside for a ball. 1-0 the count, and we are finally underway here in Richmond, Indiana. Ernst, a quick worker. Deliberate windup. The pitch. And that is in there for a strike. 1-1 the count on Cam Murray. Ernst making his fifth start of the season. Comes in here with an earned run average of 7.26 as Murray swings and fouls it off to the right. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the Youngstown State product, Cam Murray. As I mentioned, Ernst coming in here with an earned run average of 7.26, and in 17 2/3 innings pitched, he has struck out 16 and walked 10. The 1-2. Murray swings and hits a number up the first baseline. Is that going to stay fair? It's going to be a foul ball at the last moment. Ernst was racing up the first baseline, trying to keep that ball in play. And now Cam looks like he's limping a little bit as he's going back to the batter's box.
Yeah, Murray definitely walking gingerly after that play there. Gotta hope he's okay.
He's got a little hitch in his step. Looks like something to do with his left leg. Well, hopefully everything is okay with Cam. Murray's been having a great year for the Scouts so far, as evidenced by his recent selection to the GLSCL All-Star game. Cincinnati native has really taken a hold of that leadoff spot for the Scouts. Comes in here with a batting average of .385, a homer, and 7 knocked in, and also 8 stolen bases as he takes a pitch outside for a ball. So now the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cam Murray. Carson Wright, meanwhile, waiting on deck for the Scouts. Ernst quickly back with it. The 2-2. That's up high for a ball, so now we'll go full 3-2. We have an interesting view here at McBride Stadium. We are on the first base line in a building right outside of McBride Stadium as that pitch is fouled back behind home plate. Count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're a little far from the field, but not too far. Still a pretty good view of the action here at McBride Stadium this evening. Ernst once again with the payoff pitch. And Murray swings and hits a grounder over to short. The throw to first will be in time, and Murray becomes the first out of this ballgame. Now Carson Wright will come to the plate. Haven't seen a lot of Carson Wright lately for the Scouts. Early on in the season, when Bubba Cates was still the manager for Xenia, it was Carson Wright and Cam Murray who were switching off of one another. Those two guys would hold down the leadoff spot, but in recent days, it's Cam Murray who's been the de facto leadoff guy. So since that time, haven't seen a lot of Carson Wright, but good to see him back out there as he fouls a pitch at the plate on a bunt attempt. 0-1 the count on Wright. Enters with a .211 batting average, no homers and 10 knocked in. As that pitch is outside for a ball. In fact, how about this? The last time we saw Wright, you got to go all the way back to July 1st. And today is July 10th. Don't know if there was an injury or what, but not a lot of Carson Wright lately. But he's back in the lineup here tonight against Richmond as he takes a ball down low from Ernst. Cow's now 2-1 on Carson Wright.
Wright does a very good job of getting on base via the bunt, so that's still in play here.
Wright, meanwhile, swings and fouls it at the plate. So now the count is even at 2-2. Nick Tuttle, another scout that was selected as a GLSCL All-Star recently. He is waiting on deck for Xenia. Meanwhile, Ernst has his sign. The careful windup and the pitch. And that is a called strike three on the outside corner. 2 gone as Wright becomes a strikeout victim.
And that's sometimes what happens when you don't play for over about 9 days is you get a little rusty. Up there at the plate, and sometimes you leave your bat on your shoulder like Wright did there.
So now it'll be up to Nick Tuttle to try to keep this inning going for the Scouts. Tuttle, out of the Masters College, a native of Caldwell, Idaho. And the first pitch he sees from Ernst is a strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. No homers, 15 knocked in, and a very impressive batting average of .389 for Mr. Tuttle. The pitch by Ernst. That's down low in the dirt. Count even at 1-1 strike.
Tuttle, great hitter, like you said, but also great batter. Does a great job of working counts, really make pitchers work to get him out.
Ernst with the 1-1. Tuttle swings and fouls it off to the right. So now we'll go to 1-2. Tuttle coming off of an impressive game against Grand Lake back on July the 8th, a game in which he went 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs. His on-base percentage has been amazing during this stretch. Way over 400. The 1-2. Tuttle swings, and it's a ground ball over to third. Throw to first will be just in time. Tuttle was trying to beat that out for an infield single, but instead he'll be a 5-3 ground-out victim as the Scouts go down 1-2-3 here at the top half of the first. We head to the bottom half of the first. Scouts nothing, Jazz coming to bat here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Back here in Richmond, Indiana, bottom half of the first here at McBride Stadium. Scouts nothing, Jazz coming to bat for the very first time, and they will do so against the left-hander Ryan Moeller, native of Mountain View, California, attends Grinnell College over in Iowa. 6'2", 200-pound freshman at Grinnell. Here's his stats here in the summer of 2018 for the Scouts. Moeller making his 5th start of the season. 8th game overall. He's 1-2 with an earned run average of 9.98. And in 24 1/3 innings pitched, he has struck out 12 and walked 20. Last time we saw him, it was against Cincinnati. Got to go back to July the 4th. Lasted only 4 2/3 innings. Gave up 8 runs, all of them earned on 8 hits while walking 4 and striking out 4. And Riley, you and I were just talking about this during the break. The key for Moeller simply is to throw strikes.
Yeah, he just got to keep the ball in the zone. He does a good job when he keeps that ball in the zone of getting outs, he does a good job of pitching to contact and letting his defense get outs for him. But unfortunately, sometimes he gives up a lot of free bases, gives up a lot of walks, and then when you give up those walks and the hits start coming, it just piles on.
So Jacob Burlingame, the leadoff hitter for Richmond tonight, also playing in center field for the Jazz. He is in the left-handed batter's box. He is digging in. He will be the first batter to go against the lefty Moeller. Xenia nothing. Jazz coming to bat for the very first time here this evening. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Charlie Danis and Riley Harshman coming to you from Richmond, Indiana, about an hour 10, hour 15 drive due west of Xenia. As that pitch is taken on the outside for a ball, 1-0 the count on Burlingame. The Xenia defense looks like this. I'll say it after this pitch by Moeller. That's down low in the dirt, 2-0 the count. First baseman, Caleb Eater. Second baseman is Zach Bacon. The shortstop is Tuttle. Bills is over at third base. The left fielder is Carson Wright. The center fielder is Cam Murray. The right fielder is Carter Boswell. Jared Lindsay is the catcher. And as we mentioned before, the left-hander Moeller on the mound for Xenia. As that is fouled off to the right. Count will go to 2 balls and 1 strike. Burlingame, one of the top hitters this year in the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League. Boy, he put together some really good at-bats when the Jazz were up in Xenia a couple of weeks ago. As Moeller winds and throws, and that pitch is down low for a ball. 3-1 the count on the leadoff man, Burlingame. On the season, Burlingame, .321, 3 homers, and 17 runs batted in. Boy, that's great production, no matter how you slice it from your leadoff guy. Moeller with the pitch, meanwhile, and that's up and in. And not a good start for Moeller right there as he walks the leadoff man. Burlingame on safely.
Yeah, the Scouts finally ended that losing streak they had Sunday, but not after giving up a lot of free bases, and Moeller not starting off well today, giving 1 out.
You are referring to the extra inning win that they had against Grand Lake. 12-6 was the final as they erupted for a whole bunch of runs in the 10th inning of that game, a game that Xenia needed in the worst way. It snapped a 7-game losing streak. Meanwhile, Moeller going to work on the next batter, that being Tommy Bell, the shortstop, and Bell takes a ball outside. Bell batting from the right side for the Jazz against the lefty Moeller. Moeller checks the runner at first. Now he delivers, and that pitch is in there for a strike. Catches the inside corner.
And Bell showing bunt here. Moeller just got to get this ball in the zone. Let Bell bunt it. Let him get himself out. Get this out real quick here.
Moeller with the 1-1. Bell takes a look at a pitch up high. Bell, a Kettering, Ohio native. So he is originally from the Dayton area. Sophomore at Old Dominion University, batting .366, no homers and 4 knocked in. 2-1 pitch on the way. And here's a grounder to Eater. Eater will toss on over to Moeller, and did he beat him to the bag? Yes, he did. Caleb Eater with a toss to the lefty Moeller, and Moeller was just able to beat Bell to the bag for the first out. Burlingame moves up to second on the play.
Yeah, Eater doing a good job of checking that runner down at second to see if he could get him out. Made the good decision of not throwing over there, and Moeller just barely in time getting over to first in time to cover that bag for Eater.
So now Moeller will get back on the pitching rubber and turn his attention to the Jazz right fielder Patrick Smith. And boy, what a season Smith has had. .400 batting average, 2 homers, 14 knocked in. He's also got 9 doubles on the season as well. Moeller with the pitch. And here's a liner out to center field. It'll drop for a base hit. They will hold the runner at third as he took a little bit of a tumble right there. Burlingame slipped a little bit, so probably a good decision right there to hold him up at third, as that is a single to center for Patrick Smith. So runners on the corners with 1 out for the Jazz here in the bottom half of the first, and that will now bring Steve Bennett to the plate in a big offensive spot here for Richmond. Bennett, .288 batter, 1 homer and 12 knocked in. Bats from the right side against the lefty throwing Moeller, who already finds himself in a little bit of a jam here. Moeller sets, and he deals. That is way up high for a ball. 1-0 the count. Jared Lindsay giving him the motion. Calm down. It's all good. Just throw it in my glove and we'll be good.
Yeah, Moeller finds himself in these pressure situations a lot. He's got to do a good job. He's got to do a better job of composing himself and just getting this ball in the zone, try and get these outs.
1-0 pitch. Upcoming here from Moeller. Continuing to check the runner over there at first. Still checking, and now time has been called. Apparently Moeller is fascinated by Patrick Smith over there at first base. So now Moeller bends over at the waist. He'll get his sign from his catcher, Lindsay, and now he has it once again. Here's the 1-0. That is swung on and missed. Nice fastball down in the zone that Bennett was not able to catch up to. Bennett, a native of Auburn, New York. Plays his college ball at Canisius. And now Moeller will step off the mound. Rain really cooled things off here in Richmond. 1-1 pitch. Up high. They will throw to third, but the runner is back in plenty of time. Meanwhile, a stolen base on the play by Patrick Smith. Lindsay kind of double clutched there, thought that he would initially throw to second, but then he saw Burlingame stray off the third base bag, thought he had a play right there. So now two runners in scoring position for Richmond. Here comes the 2-1. That's up high. So now it'll go to 3-1 on Steve Bennett. Philip Archer, the Jazz first baseman, waiting on deck.
Yeah, and even that play there by Lindsay, sometimes that's an actual set play for a defense, especially with the catchers, to fake that throw down to second, try to get that guy on third sleeping and try to get him out with a throw down to third, but Lindsay unsuccessful.
3-1 pitch, popped up high, and this will be out of play as a couple of kids will go after that foul ball. So 3 balls, 2 strikes on Steve Bennett. Runners at first and third. Smith at first. Burlingame at third. Richmond trying to make a bid here to grab the first lead of this game after the Scouts went scoreless in the top half of the first. Moeller, the lefty, sets. Here's the payoff. And that is swung on and fouled back to the screen. So we'll do it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes once again on Patrick Smith.
Moeller did a good job of coming back in this count after going down 3-1. Now he's got to keep attacking and try to get Bennett out here, especially with these runners in scoring position.
Moeller finally has his sign, and he is ready. 3-2. And it's a liner. Is it fair or foul? Just foul down the third base line. Boy, didn't miss by much either.
Moeller definitely thanking the home plate umpire for that, because if that ball was fair, it'd be 2-0 right now.
So we'll have to do it again. Steve Bennett getting set to get back into the right-handed batter's box. Meanwhile, Moeller resets on the pitching rubber. Taking his lead from second is Patrick Smith. Taking his lead from third is Burlingame. Once again, the payoff pitch. And that's up high for a ball. The bases will now be loaded, with still only 1 out here in the bottom half of the first for the Jazz. So that will now bring Philip Archer to the plate. Archer playing at first base this evening for the Jazz. .237 batter, 1 homer, and 7 knocked in. And he definitely has a chance to add to that RBI total in this spot. Moeller sets and delivers. And here is a fly ball lofted into left field. Making the catch will be Carson Wright, and he'll quickly throw it back into the infield. Burlingame, meanwhile, will stay put at third, 2 gone.
And that just helps Moeller's confidence right there. When you have bases loaded, only 1 out, there's so many things that can go wrong there. But 1 pitch, getting that second out, now you can get that third out at any base, and it just makes it a lot easier situation for Moeller as a pitcher.
So now Moeller 1 out away from wriggling off the hook. Still has some work to do, though, as he will go to work on Bill Kroll, the designated hitter for Richmond. The pitch, it swung on and fouled back. 0-1 the count on Kroll. .212 batter, 1 homer, and 8 knocked in. Kroll listed as a catcher, but tonight he is the designated hitter for the hometown Jazz. Moeller, meanwhile, sets on the mound once again. Here's the 0-1. And this is popped up high in the air. Eater will give it a look, but that will be out of play. So now it is no balls and 2 strikes on Bill Kroll. Kroll, a native of Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. Plays his college ball, I should say, at Canisius. 6', 210-pound senior over there at Canisius College. And that is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Moeller is able to get out of the bases-loaded jam. Well done. We head to the top half of the second. Scouts nothing. Jazz likewise here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the second here in Richmond. Still a scoreless ball game between the Jazz and the Scouts. The first of 2 games that these teams will be playing over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we'll be back here at McBride Stadium. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05, and hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate a little better than she did today. Again, if you're just joining us, this game was originally scheduled for a 7:05 start, but it got pushed all the way back. We didn't get started until 8:20 tonight. So that is why we are here in the top half of the second of a scoreless game between the Scouts and the Jazz here in Richmond. Ernst, the right-hander, back to the hill, and his first pitch to Caleb Eater is down into the dirt. Well, we keep talking about all-stars. Let's add another one to the list, that being Caleb Eater. And very deserving. By far the most consistent pitcher for the Scouts here in 2018. And Eater coming off of a terrific pitching performance, as a matter of fact, against Grand Lake. As Ernst with the 1-1. Down low for a ball, 2-1 the count.
It really makes you wonder about Eater. For what reason did he get elected to the All-Star game? Was it because of his great pitching, as you mentioned, or his hitting? Because he's also been swinging a very good bat for the Scouts this year.
2-1 pitch is up high for a ball. That game against Grand Lake was something special for Caleb Eater. That was back on July the 8th. 7 innings, 1 run, which was not earned on 2 hits. Did have 9 walks, but also had 7 strikeouts. As that pitch is taken on the outside corner for a called strike. 3-2 the count on Eater. In terms of hitting, Eater, 333 batter with no homers and 3 knocked in. In terms of pitching, 1-1 with a 3.56 earned run average, as Eater is able to get a walk out of that at-bat. So Eater will trot on down to first base. And now that'll bring up Ryan Bertelsmann on the season. By the way, pitching-wise, Eater with 21 strikeouts and 24 walks and 35 1/3 innings pitched. Boy, Riley, if I had to guess, Eater probably made the All-Star team as a pitcher, but he has done good work with the bat this year.
Yeah, indubitably. And the only reason he has those 24 walks is because he walked 9 guys last Sunday.
As that pitch is down low for a ball by Ryan Bertelsmann. By the way, very good use of the word indubitably. Right there.
Thank you.
Easy for me to say. So Bertelsmann, the Baylor product, will now come to the plate. Another All-Star, by the way. He definitely made the All-Star team as a hitter. From what we have seen here in 2018, as he takes another ball from Ernst, it's now 2-0 on Bertelsmann. 324 batter, no homers, 7 knocked in. Also has 16 stolen bases on the season. Bertelsmann now taking a pitch for a strike, 2-1 the count. The only thing that's been missing from Bertelsmann offensively has been the lack of extra base hits. Only has one double, no triples, and no homers. As Bertelsmann hits a grounder out to second, and that will be an easy 6-3 double play. Basically hit it right to the shortstop, that being Tommy Bell. And Bell is able to make quick work of Caleb Eater and Bertelsmann on that play. 2 gone.
And that's just unfortunate for Bertelsmann there, hitting that ball up the middle like you really want to do as a pitcher. And what Bertelsmann's been doing well all year is hitting the ball up the middle. But that ball, just a short grounder. Shortstop had his foot on the bag as he fielded it and made the out at second and easy throw over to first.
So what looked to be a promising inning for the Scouts, well, that's very much in doubt here. Zach Bacon will come to the plate with the bases empty, and he'll promptly pop this one up in foul territory. Will a play be able to be made? And the catch is made up against the fence. Steve Bennett was able to stay with it to make the play, and the Scouts end up going down 1-2-3 here in the top half of the second. We head to the bottom half of the second. Still a scoreless game between the Jazz and the Scouts here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Bottom half of the second here at McBride Stadium. Still a scoreless game between the Jazz and the Scouts as the Jazz come to bat once again against Ryan Moeller, the left-hander. Moeller had to escape a bases-loaded jam in the first inning of work for him, but he was able to get out of it thanks to a strikeout looking by Bill Kroll, the designated hitter, to end the inning. He'll now go to work against Damon Maynard, the catcher, and Maynard promptly sends a grounder out to Zach Bacon. The second baseman throws over to first, and Caleb Eater. And just like that, one pitch, one out.
Good play by Bacon there. That was a hot shot off the bat of Maynard there, but took a big hop on Bacon, but Bacon handled it cleanly and got it over to first.
So now Robbie Magaha, the left fielder, coming up offensively for the Jazz. Moeller winds and throws, and Magaha trying to lay a bunt down, but that will roll foul off to the right. Magaha, 207, a homer, and 3 runs batted in.
And Magaha was very fortunate to foul that bunt off first before he kicked it, because if that ball was in fair territory when he touched it, he would have been called out.
0-1 pitch on the way. Here's a grounder up the third baseline, foul. So now it's 2 strikes and nothing on Robbie Magaha, the Jazz left fielder. Magaha twirling the stick around as he waits on the 0-2 pitch. Here it is, and that is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Second strikeout of the night. Second strikeout of the night for Ryan Moeller. And now he will face off against the Jazz second baseman, Riley Bertram.
I like Moeller there, going after Magaha with 2 strikes. He had that 0-2 count, didn't fear him at all, just went right at him, didn't waste any time.
So Bertram, 250 batter, no homers and none knocked in. Pitch is up high for a ball. Riley Bertram, not to be confused with my broadcast partner, Riley Harshman.
Although we both played second base.
Hey, there you go. 1-0 pitch. Up high for a ball. You know, I was just thinking about this the other day. Riley, one of those names, you can use it for a boy. You can use it for a girl. In fact, one of my high school classmates, a girl, was named Riley. As that pitch is in there for a strike. And kind of the same thing has been happening with my name lately. It used to be that Charlie was a boy's name, but it's becoming a more and more popular girl's name. So there you have it.
Versatility.
Yeah, yeah, you got that right. 3 balls, 1 strike. Riley Bertram. Versatility, I like that. The pitch. That's fouled off, and now we'll go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Bertram. The leadoff man, Jacob Burlingame, waiting on deck for the Jazz, but the left-hander Moeller, he is looking for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Here's the pitch. That's down low, and he's going to have to wait after that walk by Bertram. 3rd walk of the night for Moeller, and now we go back to the top of the order for the Jazz, and that being Jacob Burlingame, who walked his first time up. Jared Lindsay talking some strategy with Moeller, and now they'll go their separate ways as Lindsay will head back behind home plate. Moeller back up there on the mound. And now Jacob Lester, the acting manager for Xenia, coming out to talk with home plate umpire Brad Fisher. Well, this is pretty interesting. And now, joining in on the conversation, well, at least for a brief time, that was the Jazz manager. That was Ryan Bertram. Now Bertram walking back to his coaching box near third. Boy, I wonder what that was all about. Well, in any case, action resumes.
You know, it might have something to do with Bertram's number that he's wearing, because on the site he's listed as number 31 for this team, but he's wearing number 19.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that might have been it. Burlingame, meanwhile, takes a ball down low. 1-0 the count on Burlingame as Moeller sets. And now he deals. Down low in the dirt once again. 2-0 the count now on Burlingame. Bertram, the 2-out runner at first base. The more clean innings that Moeller can toss for the Scouts, the better.
Indeed, we know how short-staffed this Scouts pitching staff is.
2-0, and Burlingame swings and hits a fly ball out to center field. Cam Murray is giving it a look, but that will go over his head. It'll hit off the 4-0-2 sign. A run is going to come in to score, and that is going to end up being an RBI triple for Jacob Burlingame. 1-0 in favor of the Jazz as Bertram comes around to score on the play.
That was a beautiful hit by Burlingame there, hitting it out to straightaway center, but that's what happens when sometimes you give up those free bases is runs get allowed, and then also starting behind down a count 2-0, you give the hitter all the power to swing at whatever pitch he likes, and then you give him a pitch he really likes, and he does something like that to you.
So now Tommy Bell will come to the plate. Bell was barely beaten to first place on a bang-bang 3-1 play. Moeller was able to beat him to the bag just in time back in the first inning. And the first pitch from Moeller to Bell was outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. So a 1-0 lead for the Jazz here in the bottom half of the second. The pitch. And here's a fly ball out to center field. Cam will now make the catch. That'll be the final out of the frame, but not before. An RBI triple by Jacob Burlingame gives the Jazz a 1-0 lead after 2 innings of play. We head to the top half of the third with the Scouts coming to bat here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the third here in Richmond, Indiana. We're here at John Cate Field at McBride Stadium, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Richmond Jazz. Richmond taking the lead moments ago thanks to an RBI triple by Jacob Burlingame, and now Xenia will have a shot here to do something of their own on offense. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. Ernst, the right-hander, back on the mound, that being Aaron Hurst for the Jazz. Here's the pitch, and that's down low for a ball. Jarrett Lindsey, we have seen this young man at catcher a lot so far here in 2018 as the pitch misses inside for a ball. 2-0 the count now on Jarrett Lindsey. 300 batter, 1 homer, 5 knocked in. He has seen his batting average climb a little bit within the last few days as he swings and sends a grounder out to short. Bare hand play, throw to first, and that, my friends, was a pretty play right there by Tommy Bell. 1 gone.
Bell, that was perfect play there by Bell. That's those little short or weakly hit grounders, I should say, that get hit in these types of infield. They can really be beat out by guys at this level, but Bell doing a great job of charging it, barehanding it, and getting that throw.
So now Ben Bills, the third baseman, will come to the plate for the Scouts. Bills a 118 batter, no homers, and 3 knocked in as he fouls that one off. 0-1 the count on Bills. He's been getting a lot of reps at third base lately. As the 0-1 comes plateward, and that is outside for a ball. 1-1 the count. It used to be Dugan Darnell at third base and Noah Orlando at shortstop, but because of Orlando's hand injury, acting Scouts manager Jason Lester has had to juggle his lineup, particularly on that left side of the infield, as that pitch is taken on the outside for a ball. 2-1 the count. Ernst now quickly back at it. The pitch. And that is swung on a miss by Bills. Count even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Carter Boswell waiting on deck for Xenia, who trails Richmond 1-0 here in the top half of the third. Ernst has his sign. Deliberate windup and the pitch. And that is swung on, and Bills gets a single into center field. A base knock for Ben Bills.
Bills really needed that. We've seen him struggle a bit at the plate lately, but great job. Had that 2-strike count, shortened up his swing a little bit, and sent a ball out into the center.
First hit of the night for Xenia, and now I'll bring Carter Boswell to the plate. Boswell in the season, 213, no homers and 2 knocked in. Looking to do some damage from that 9-hole in that Scouts batting order. Ernst will now work from the stretch. Pitches, and that's down low for a ball. 1-0 the count. For those of you wondering, and you probably are, Bills with only 1 stolen base on the season. Hasn't been running as much as some of his other teammates as that pitch is inside for a ball. 2-0 the count on Carter Boswell.
Boswell's a patient hitter. I've said that a lot during our broadcast. He's very patient up there. He waits for his pitch.
Boswell taps home plate. He's ready. 2-0 pitch, and Boswell lofts a fly ball into left field. This ball is carrying and caught at the edge of the warning track by Bobby McGaha for the second out of the inning. Boy, thought initially that was just going to be a shallow fly ball, but that ball kind of took off on McGaha a little bit before he was finally able to spin around and make the catch for the second out of the frame.
Yeah, Carter put a good swing on that 2-0 pitch, sent it out to left, and balls like that with a lot of loft and a lot of height just tend to carry a little bit until sometimes they just die over there at the warning track.
So now Cam Murray, the leadoff man, comes to bat for his first time up. Runner at first, 2 gone here in the top half of the third. 1-0 lead for the Jazz. Ben Bills continues to be that runner over at first for Xenia. Ernst, the pitcher. He delivers, and that's down low. That was blocked beautifully by the catcher, Damon Maynard, preventing that ball from going all the way to the backstop. And by the way, something to keep in mind, the backstop is very, very far away from home plate tonight. I'd say a good 10, 15 feet easily, right?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely the biggest backstop we've seen in the JLSCL so far this year.
As that pitch, let's see here. That'll be a strike as Cam Murray was not able to check his swing in time. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Murray. Back into the right-handed batter's box. Ernst, meanwhile, still working from the stretch. Bills takes his lead off from first. Here's the pitch. And Murray swings. Chopper over to third. Throw to first will be just in time. The throw by the third baseman, Steve Bennett, is just able to nip Murray for the final out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left on base for Xenia. We head to the bottom half of the third. It's Richmond 1, Xenia nothing here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network.
It's a good pace right now.
Yes. I would wholeheartedly agree with you on that, Mr. Hartman.
Hope it keeps that.
Having trouble?
No, it's hard to like balance it on a lap.
Oh, why did you just put it on the table?
I feel the too far away.
Get this chair, Luke. Just see if we can use that as a desk.
Yeah, that'd be real good.
The rust bucket chair.
Good old Rusty. Always came through for me. We head now to the bottom half of the third. Here at McBride Stadium, a 1-0 lead for the Richmond Jazz. As the Jazz come to bat once again against Scouts left-hander, Ryan Moeller. And folks, just a quick reminder, I want to give a special shout out to one of our big sponsors this year, Snap Fitness. It is their mission to deliver the most rewarding fitness experience in the world. When the Scouts go work out, they work out at Snap Fitness. Snap Fitness, the official gym of the Xenia Scouts. So Moeller will now go back to work against Patrick Smith, and first pitch to Smith is down low for a ball. The Jazz grabbing a 1-0 lead thanks to an RBI triple by Jacob Burlingame back in the second. The pitch. And here's a liner down the first base line. It's fair. Just over the glove of Caleb Eater. This will be extra bases for Smith. Smith will slide into second safely. Strong throw from Boswell out there in right field, but not enough as Smith is able to begin this inning for the Jazz with a double to right.
Just a little misplaced pitch there by Moeller to get that ball high and inside, and Patrick Smith just turned on it, ripped it down the line, and was able to get a double.
So now that'll bring Steve Bennett to the plate. Bennett walked his first time up.
I could have worked off that chair.
Moeller back on the pitching rubber.
Yeah, that is a lot better.
Working against the right-handed batting Bennett. Moeller will now set. Looks back at the runner at second, now delivers. And is fouled off. Back to the screen. Riley, what is tonight's trivia question?
Tonight's trivia question. So which of the following players I'm about to name was the oldest to hit a grand slam? Was it Hank Aaron, Minnie Minoso, Dave Winfield, or Julio Franco?
0-1 pitch on the way from Moeller. That's up high for a ball. Those are all players that played a long, did I mention long time in the major leagues. I'll give you the answer to that trivia question coming up in the next half inning. Meanwhile, Moeller with the 1-1 pitch. That is in there for a called strike. 1-2 the count on Steve Bennett. Philip Archer waiting on deck for Richmond. Runner at second, and Patrick Smith after Smith led off this inning with a double to right. Moeller looking in for a sign from his catcher, Lindsey. He now has it. Here comes the 1-2. And that is just outside for a ball, so now the count is even. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the third baseman, Steve Bennett. Moeller bends over at the waist, looking in for a sign. Now he sets. 2-2. That's outside, so now we'll go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Muller's got to try to get a ball in the zone here. He does not want to walk this guy and leave himself open for a bunt to get those 2 guys over in a scoring position. That could spell a bad inning.
Moeller with the payoff pitch. That is high and outside for a ball. Ball 4. Another walk for Moeller. That'll put runners at first and second with still nobody out here in the bottom half of the third. Richmond leading Xenia 1-0. And now Philip Archer, the first baseman, will come a-calling offensively once again. He has flied out to left field on the night so far. Moeller with the pitch. And this is foul back, 0-1 the count. The field dimensions here at McBride Stadium are interesting to say the least. Down the right field line, it's 311. Out to straightaway center is 402. 375 in the power alleys. 311 down the left field line. And then they were even nice enough to post the distances beyond the fences for us, as that pitch is taken outside for a ball. If you look down the left field line, go beyond the left field foul pole, they have posted a distance of 355. And then if you go out beyond the left center field wall, they have posted a distance of 411. Just another way of helping us decipher how far a ball goes if it is hit in that particular spot. And so now, after a ball thrown down low by Moeller, it is a 2-1 count on Philip Archer. It's turned out to be a beautiful night here in Richmond, and boy, that is different from the narrative that we saw earlier today with plenty of rain, some lightning, some thunder as well. They had to work feverishly to get this field ready to go, but it's in good condition now as that pitch is down low for a ball, and the count is now 3-1 on Philip Archer.
And here again, we're seeing some more control issues for Moeller after that walk to Bennett. In danger of walking Archer here, and like we said, that scout's bullpen isn't too deep, so Moeller needs to go as long as he can out here.
The runner at first is Steve Bennett. The runner at second is Patrick Smith. The batter is Philip Archer. He's working with a 3-1 count. Moeller, the left-hander, meanwhile, sets on the mound and delivers. And that is up high for a ball. Another walk for Moeller, and now the bases are loaded for the Jazz. Still nobody out here in the bottom half of the third. Second straight walk by Moeller in this frame. And now Bill Krull, the designated hitter, will come to the plate. Krull, a strikeout looking his first time up. And his strikeout looking was actually crucial in this game as the Jazz had the bases loaded with 2 out in the bottom half of the first. But Krull hit with the backwards K to end that frame as Moeller was able to wriggle off the hook. At least that's what we said about Moeller at that time. Now he finds himself in a similar jam here in the bottom half of the third, already trailing Richmond 1-0. Moeller will set on the mound once again. The pitch to Krull. Man, that's down low. Nice block in the dirt that time by Jarrett Lindsey. So count is 1-0 on Bill Krull. Moeller looking in for his sign, and he has it. The 1-0. Krull swings a liner to left field. It is caught. Carson Wright making the catch right there for the first out, and all of the runners have to stay put. 1 gone.
And that's a good start to try to get out of this jam for Moeller. Bases loaded, nobody out. Gets a quick fly out in the shallow left. That guy on third, and Patrick Smith decided not to tag up and go, so Moeller getting lucky there, getting that first out, not getting a tag up either.
The catcher Damon Maynard now up to bat for the Jazz, grounded out to second, his first time up. Bases still loaded, 1 gone here in the bottom of the third. Moeller with the pitch, and that's up high for a ball, 1-0 the count. The light towers here at McBride Stadium, pretty interesting. This is a pretty old ballpark. Used to be used as a minor league facility back in the day as that pitch is up high for a ball. And you can tell just by looking at the light fixtures that This place has been around for a long, long time. These bad boys look like they were put up back in the 50s or so, perhaps even older than that. Moeller, meanwhile, working with a 2-0 count against Maynard. And Maynard swings and fouls it back.
So with the bases loaded with one out, the Scouts infield has shifted a little bit. You got Bills at third and Eater at first. The corner bases up on the grass to try to make that play at home if they get a grounder their way. And up the middle, they're playing in double play depth to try to get out of the inning.
2-1 pitch swung on. It's a fly ball out to left field. Under it is Cam Murray. He'll make the catch. Tagging from third on the play is Patrick Smith. He will score. Bennett moves up to third on the play as well. A 2-0 lead for the Richmond Jazz as Damon Maynard is able to knock in a run with a sac fly to center.
That's just one of the ways to score when you got a guy on third like that. You don't have to always get a hit or hit it out of the park. A little sac fly will do.
So now Robbie McGaha will come to the plate for Richmond. McGaha struck out swinging his first time up. McGaha struck out swinging his first time up. The pitch. And that's down low. Another nice block by Jarrett Lindsey, who so far is getting a workout back behind home plate tonight for the Scouts.
Yeah, Lindsey sees exactly how far back that backstop goes, so he knows that every pitch is a possibility for a run.
1-0 pitch up high for a ball, so now it is 2 balls, no strikes on McGaha. 2-0 lead for Richmond here in the bottom half of the third. An RBI triple by Jacob Burlingame in the second, and then moments ago, an RBI sac fly by Damon Maynard. And that's all the offense that the Jazz have had here so far tonight. The pitch by Moeller. That is right on the outside corner for a call strike. You can't dot the fastball any more beautifully than that. Moeller with a great pitch that time. Now a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Next pitch is up high. So now it's 3 balls and 1 strike to Robbie McGaha. Riley Bertram waiting on deck for Richmond. Moeller with the pitch. And here's a high pop-up. Eater chasing it in foul territory, but it's out of play. So now we'll go full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Robbie McGaha. Runner at first is Philip Archer. Runner at third is Steve Bennett.
Moeller would love to get this out here via the strikeout. Only getting out of a bases loaded jam with no outs with only 1 run across is a victory.
3-2 pitch swung on and missed as Moeller is able to K McGaha and get out of this inning before further damage is done. But a run does cross the plate for the Jazz on 1 hit. They do leave a couple men on base. 3 innings in the books here in Richmond. A 2-0 lead for the Richmond Jazz over the Scouts here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Travis, watch it.
You went to Ohio State and you're red.
Fine, we'll just leave you here in Richmond.
I'd rather not.
I'd rather not.
Tug of war. Top half of the fourth here at McBride Stadium. Scouts come to bat once again against the right-hander Aaron Ernst. 2-0 lead for the Jazz here as Carson Wright will be the first batter to face Ernst here in the top half of the fourth. 2, 3, 4 hitters, Wright, Tuttle, and Eater scheduled to come to the plate for the Scouts. Out the rain that came through, but ever since then, it's just been absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking overhead. Beautiful horizon, clouds in the sky. Ernst delivers, and there's a pop-up foul out of play out to our left. But you look overhead, you know it's a beautiful summer night when you can look up in the sky, and because of the remaining remnants of the sun, it reflects off the clouds, giving that nice pinkish tint up ahead. Really beautiful to see, especially with the stadium lights up ahead. It's a nice homey feeling here in Richmond as Wright goes down swinging, one gone. So now Nick Tuttle will come to the plate. Tuttle grounded out to third his last time up. And we've seen Tuttle in a multitude of positions this year for Xenia. He's played at third. He's played at shortstop. Also seen him at second. Tuttle swings and will ground this one over to second and into right field for a base hit, just under the glove that time of the second baseman, Bertram. Tuttle will certainly take it. It's a base runner for the Scouts.
No, and a lot of times we see Tuttle get his hits after working into some counts, but right there, first pitch he saw, he liked it enough to put a bat on and put a good enough bat on to get the base hit.
So as Caleb Eater now comes to the plate for Xenia, Riley, let's go ahead and revisit tonight's trivia question.
So yeah, tonight's trivia question was, which of the following players was the oldest to hit a grand slam?
Ernst with the pitch, and that is inside for a ball. Choices, please.
And those following players are Hank Aaron, Minnie Minoso, Dave Winfield, and Julio Franco.
1-0 pitch, and the throw gets away from the first baseman. Tuttle is racing around second. He's going to chug into third easily as that ball went up the right field line. So Nick Tuttle able to advance to third on a bad pickoff throw by the right-hander Ernst. And the Scouts now all of a sudden with a good chance here to scratch across their first run of the game. Put that down as an E1 on the throwing error by the pitcher Ernst, as Eater now has a prime RBI opportunity right here.
It's not often you see those pickoff throws that go awry like that get a runner on third.
1-0 pitch. Eater swings and fouls it off at the plate. Okay. Very good candidates, very good possibilities with this trivia question. I'm going to go with D. Julio Franco.
And you'd be correct. Julio Franco hit his grand slam when he was 46 years old.
1-1 pitch gets away from the catcher, and coming in to score is Nick Tuttle. Again, we talked about how far the backstop is here at McBride Stadium from home plate. That was rather easy for Tuttle. So how about that? Nick Tuttle gets a single, advances all the way to third on a throwing error by the right-hander Ernst, and now all of a sudden comes in to score on a wild pitch by Ernst. 2-1 in favor of the Jazz.
Yeah, this long backstop's got a lot of real estate back there, a lot of square footage. So wild pitches, if you got a guy on third, it's almost a guaranteed run.
2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed by Caleb Eater. That was a mighty hack that time by the Indiana Wesleyan product, as the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, it used to be back in the olden days that these old-style ballparks, they would have a lot of foul territory to work with. The 2-2 pitch. And this will be bounced over to short. Throw to first in time for the second out of the inning. 6-3 in the scorebook for those of you scoring at home. All you have to do is just think about some of those old ballparks like Crosley Field, the Polo Grounds, tons and tons of foul territory to work with. Nowadays, because of these new ballparks, the aim of the owners is to get the fans as close to the action as possible. As the pitch is taken down low by Ryan Bertelsmann, he grounded into a double play his last time up. The only exception that I can think of in Major League Baseball, and this has to do with the facility that they play in. Talking about the Oakland A's has to do with the facility that they play in. Talking about the Oakland A's out there in O.Co. Coliseum, or whatever the heck they call that ballpark nowadays. The foul territory in that place is huge, and I mean big. 2-0 count. Ernst with the pitch and is fouled off. But then again, that place is something that's very rare nowadays, a multi-purpose stadium that houses, at least for right now, the Oakland Raiders. They're going to be moving to Las Vegas pretty soon, and the Oakland A's. 2-1 pitch. Grounder. Nice play. Throw to first, and the first baseman not able to make the catch. And boy, Tommy Bell almost turned in another great play that time, but the first baseman, Philip Archer, not able to hold on to the ball. And it looks as though, did they charge an error on that play?
No, I think that they counted that as a hit because the error came earlier this inning on that pickoff throw.
So a hit for Ryan Bertelsmann.
With Bertelsmann on first, he does have a lot of speed, so look to him to try to get in a scoring position for Bacon.
16 stolen bases on the year. Ernst with the pitch. And that's in there for a strike. Boy, it used to be back in the day, back in the 70s, late 60s in particular, all the cookie-cutter stadiums that were produced, these multi-purpose facilities that were supposed to make things so much easier for sports franchises across the country as Bacon fouls that one off to the right. You had Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. You had Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. You had Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, obviously. Those dinosaurs have been torn down by now as that pitch is outside for a ball, 1-2 the count. So to come to a ballpark like this with big foul territory, with retro-looking lights, it's in a lot of ways a blast from the past.
Taking a step into the time machine.
1-2 pitch. That's swung on and missed by Bacon. He'll be tagged out at home plate, and that'll be that for the Scouts here in the top half of the fourth. But they do score a run. Couple base hits in the inning for the Scouts as they leave a man on base. As we head to the bottom half of the fourth, it's Richmond 2, Xenia 1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Ryan Muller, the left-hander, back on the hill for the Scouts as we begin play here in the bottom half of the fourth. 2-1 lead for the Richmond Jazz as this pitch is taken down low for a ball by Riley Bertram. He walked and scored on the Jacob Burlingame RBI triple back in the second. The pitch by Muller. And Bertram swings and hits a fly ball out to left field, handled easily by Carson Wright for the first out of the inning. In the last half inning, we were talking about McBride Stadium, how it's cool to be at a park that has been around for a long, long time, has hosted some minor league balls. And Riley, it turns out that your old man listening to the broadcast tonight has some rather interesting information as Burlingame gets set to dig in here for Richmond.
Yeah, my dad texted me, told me that McBride Stadium was built in 1936 and renovated in 1995.
As that pitch is taken for a strike.
And it's been home to 4 different minor league ball clubs, and also my old man played shortstop out here back in 1984. So very cool to be at a spot where my dad played some baseball.
Pitches down low for a ball. Now, I am sure that your dad passed the love of the game down to you. If there is one sport that depends so much on that father-son relationship, it's the game of baseball. There's just something special. Not taking away anything from the moms. You know, they play a big part because they're the ones that are driving the kids to all the games and stuff like that. But when it comes to something that fathers and sons can simply bond over, there is nothing better than the game of baseball. Grounder out to second. Bacon will throw on over to first. And quickly, 2 gone here for the Jazz here in the bottom half of the 4th.
And that's one thing we've seen from Moeller this year is resilience. He has his control issues and everything, but he ultimately gets outs and he gets through games. He does a good job of just staying with it, staying resilient, and just keep fighting, getting outs.
Tommy Bell, the shortstop. He's made a couple of nice plays in the field, but he is still looking for his first hit of the game as he takes a pitch up high for Moeller. So far on the evening, Bell has grounded out to first, and he's also flown out to center field. Moeller with the wind and the pitch, and the 1-0's fouled at the plate. So now the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Tommy Bell.
Yeah, Bell's been very busy over there at shortstop. There have been 5 putouts made via the 6-3, and one of them was that double play he made as well.
1-1 pitch upcoming here for Moeller. This is swung on, and it's a grounder. Out to short. Throw to first in time. And how about that? A 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Moeller here in the bottom half of the 4th. We head to the top half of the 5th with Richmond leading Xenia 2-1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the 5th here at McBride Stadium. The grand old lady celebrating her 82nd year of existence here in Richmond, Indiana. The grand old lady celebrating her 82nd year of existence here in Richmond, Indiana. And it's the host side of tonight's game between the Richmond Jazz and your Xenia Scouts alongside Riley Harshman. I'm Charlie Danis. Beautiful night here in eastern Indiana. Made about an hour and 15 drive from Xenia over here to Richmond today as Jared Lindsay digs in for the Scouts. Ernst with the pitch. That is inside for a ball. Lindsay grounding out to shortstop his first time up. 0 for 1 on the night thus far. Ernst, meanwhile, with the pitch. And that misses down low for a ball. 2-0 the count on Lindsay. 7, 8, 9 hitters scheduled to bat for the Scouts. Lindsay, Bills, and Boswell. Ernst with the deliberate windup once again. The pitch, and that's in there for a strike, catching the inside corner. 2-1 the count on Jarrett Lindsay. Tens Point Loma Nazarene out near San Diego, California. Lindsay takes another strike on the inside corner, and now the count is even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ben Bills waiting on deck for the Scouts. Xenia with their light blue tops tonight, gray pants. Meanwhile, the Jazz electing to go with their navy blue jerseys and white pants. Lindsay now hits a grounder over to third. The throw to first will be in time, and Lindsay becomes a 5-3 ground-out victim.
And Ernst has been very, very solid up there on the hill today. Nothing too fancy, but he's been doing a great job of pitching to contact, and the scouts have been producing a lot of ground balls for his infield, and his infield has been eating them up.
Ben Bills, the third baseman, now coming to bat for the Scouts, and he singled his last time up. Looking for another base knock right here. The pitch. Bills takes a strike. Taking a look at scores around the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League, one game got canceled today. Galleon was supposed to play host to St. Clair, but Mother Nature got in the way of that one, so they will have to make up that game at some point as that pitch is fouled up the third base line. 0-2 the count on Bills. Meanwhile, they're in the bottom half of the ninth in Salina, Ohio. Grand Lake, trailing Lake Erie in that one 7-3. Top half of the eighth in Lima. The hometown Locos, they trail Saginaw by the exact same score, 7-3. Bottom half of the eighth in Athens, the Copperheads of Southern Ohio, they are trailing the Southern Division leading Cincinnati Steam 5-2. And finally, they're in the bottom half of the sixth over in Newark. The Licking County Settlers, they're being doubled up at the moment by the Hamilton Joes 6-3. After a quick visit to the mound, Ernst with the 1-2 pitch. And that is over Bills' head. He had to duck out of the way of that one. 2-2 the count on Ben Bills. Ernst back to work. 2-2. Bills fouls it back. As these two continue to go mano-a-mano. Ernst out there on the mound. Bills the batter. The 2-2. Bill swings, grounder down the third base line, foul. So we will once again do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ben Bills out of Nyack College. Ernst with a deliberate windup and the pitch. And that is inside, so now we will go full 3-2. Boy, Riley, good at bat here by Ben Bills.
Great at bat by Bills, and these types of at bats tend to wear on the pitcher and the batter. So when you have these types of at bats, you just have to try to come out on top. You got to try to last longer.
Here comes the payoff pitch. Bill swings and fouls it off. So he will continue to bat against Ernst, at least for the time being. Carter Boswell once again waiting on deck for the Scouts. Ernst, once again with the 3-2. That's up high, and Bills, after a long at-bat against the right-hander Ernst, able to earn himself a walk.
Bills was able to will himself longer there. Had fouled off 3 pitches after being down with 2 strikes. Great job of just fouling off that stuff that you can't really hit and just trying to find a pitch, and he found a ball and got himself to first.
Boswell now coming to the plate for the second time tonight. He flew out to left field his last time up, that coming back in the top half of the third. Scouts trailing 1-0 the count on Boswell. Just past 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, we had a little bit of a late start here tonight. Supposed to start at 7:05. Didn't get started until 8:20 because of all the rain that passed through here and getting the infield ready, et cetera, et cetera. 1-0 pitch. That's swung on. Throw down to second, and the runner is out. Ben Bills thrown out by the Richmond catcher, Damon Maynard, on the play. 2 gone.
We haven't seen Bills steal too many bases this year, and he got a good jump there, but a very good throw there by Maynard behind the plate is really what got Bills.
Carter Boswell. Now waiting on the 1-1. Boswell swings and misses. So now it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Carter Boswell. Well, just when you think the Scouts had something cooking offensively, base runner eliminated thanks to the arm of Damon Maynard. Boswell trying to get on here. 1-2. That's down low, so now we'll go to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Boswell. Cam Murray on deck. Swinging a bat. Hoping to bat here in the top half of the 5th. 2-2. That's inside for a ball. So now the second time this inning that Ernst has gone 3-2 to a Scouts batter. Bills was able to earn himself a walk earlier this frame. What will Boswell do in this situation?
Boswell seldom swings at pitches outside the zone.
Boswell taking a pitch just outside. Boy, a good eye that time exhibited by Boswell. Second walk of the inning for Ernst. Back to the top of the Scouts order we go. And we get to see Cam Murray once again. Murray, a ground out victim, not once, but twice so far in the evening. Once to shortstop and once to third. Meanwhile, Ernst continues to work up there on the mound. He's back on the rubber. Now he steps off.
And indeed, a good eye there by Boswell. Sometimes when you have a good eye like that, you also get a little lucky. It was still close to the strike zone, and you just never know what that home plate umpire is going to call a strike.
Third walk of the game, by the way, for Ernst. Pitch to Murray in their first strike, catching the inside corner. So far in the night, Ernst, 3 walks to go along with 3 strikeouts. He has so far given up 1 run on 3 hits against Xenia. Ernst once again in the stretch. The pitch. And that hit Cam Murray in the back. So now a couple of base runners for the Scouts. Boswell moves to second. Cam Murray trotting on down to first after being hit by a pitch.
And at-bats like the one Ben Bills had earlier in this inning can sometimes shake a pitcher's confidence because you think you can get that guy out, then ultimately you don't, and that guy ended up beating you in that mano-a-mano matchup, and since then he's been shaking a bit. He walked Boswell and just hit Murray there.
So now Carson Wright, a strikeout victim, not once but twice so far in the night. 1 looking, 1 swinging. 0 for 2 so far, but he can change his luck right here. The pitch, up high. 1-0 the count on Carson Wright.
And Boswell on that pitch got a mighty big secondary over there at second. Be looking for him to do anything he can to try to get himself in a better position.
1-0 pitch, Wright swings and pops it up. Will there be a play made here? It will be out of play. Just off to our left. Wright plays from Lipscomb University, 5'10", 165 pounds. He's got a big opportunity here. Runners at first and second. 2 gone here in the top half of the 5th. Richmond leading Xenia 2-1. Scouts looking for a little 2-out magic from their left fielder, Carson Wright. Ernst back on the hill now. Looking for his sign. Still working from the stretch. The 1-1. Wright swings and fouls it at the plate. 1-2 the count. Actually, that was just a good old-fashioned swing and a miss that time. In any case, the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Murray will take his lead off of first. Boswell will do the same off of second. Ernst with the 1-2. Wright swings, a bouncer. Over to the second baseman. Throw to first will be in time. And that is how the inning will end for the Scouts. Well, Xenia, no runs, no hits. They leave a couple men on base. We head to the bottom half of the 5th with Richmond still leading Xenia 2-1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the 5th upcoming here from Richmond, Indiana. Scouts trailing the Richmond Jazz 2-1. Speaking of scores, we'll get you updated with some scores around Major League Baseball. We first started in the Steel City of Pittsburgh. Hometown Pirates trailing All of a sudden, the hot Washington Nationals by a score of 2-0. They're in the top half of the 8th in Baltimore. The Orioles and the New York Yankees tied at 5 in that one. Pretty entertaining game at Camden Yards, apparently. They're also in the top half of the 9th in Cleveland. The Indians looking to close out the Reds. Cleveland leading Cincinnati 4-3 in that one. Top half of the 8th, Brewers leading the Marlins 5-4. More scores upcoming here. First, the pitch from Moeller. And his pitch to Patrick Smith is down low for a ball. Brewers leading the Marlins 5-4 Miami. Top half of the 8th down there in South Beach. Phillies 7-3. They lead the Mets in Flushing, New York. As they go to the middle half of the 8th at Citi Field, that pitch is fouled off at the plate by Smith. 1-1 the count. Bottom of the 7th at Fenway Park, the Red Sox doubling up the Rangers right now, 8-4. The Blue Jays and the Braves tied at 1 in Atlanta. Bottom half of the 7th at SunTrust Park. There's that pitch. Missing inside to the left-handed batting Smith. 2-1 the count. They're in the top half of the 4th in Minnesota. The Royals leading the Twins 5-2. As Moeller pitches, and that is fouled off to the left. 2-2 the count. Astros leading the Oakland A's 3-0, bottom half of the 4th in Houston. They're in the middle of the 5th on the south side of Chicago. Cardinals with a 4-2 advantage over the White Sox. Moeller with the kick and the pitch. And that is down low for a ball. 3-2 the count on Patrick Smith. Bottom half of the 3rd in Denver. Rockies and D-backs tied at 1. And then coming up later on tonight, Angels play host to the Mariners. Padres do the same against the Dodgers. That pitch is up high, and that'll be a walk for Smith, excuse me. Third time tonight that Smith has already reached base. Single back in the 1st and double and scored back in the 3rd. So a walk here to start the 5th inning. Giants host the Cubs at 10:15, and actually I misspoke. There's already a final today. This apparently must have been like a makeup game from earlier today. The Tampa Bay Rays triumphing over the Detroit Tigers 5-2. Moeller is triumphing over the Detroit Tigers 5-2. Moeller now going to work on Steve Bennett as Jared Lindsay keep it in front of him. Bennett has walked not once but twice tonight. Speaking of walks, Patrick Smith, who just reached via walk, takes his lead off of first. Moeller, meanwhile, will set and throw. 1-0 on the outside corner for a called strike. 1-1 the count. So far in the evening, Richmond, 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error in the field. Xenia, meanwhile, 1 run on 3 hits. Boys from Xenia have yet to commit an error in the field tonight. 1-1. That's fouled off. 1-2 the count now on Steve Bennett as Philip Archer continues to warm up on the on-deck circle.
I don't expect Moeller to mess around with Bennett here. I expect him to go at him. He's walked him twice today. Does not want to lose him here after getting ahead in the count.
1-2. Runner going. Swung on and missed, or was that a foul ball? No, they are calling that a strikeout. So Bennett is gone. Stealing second on the play is Patrick Smith. So a runner in scoring position with 1 out as Philip Archer comes to the plate once again for Richmond. Archer has flied out to left field, and he has also walked.
Moeller needs to try to keep Smith close at second over there, but also he just needs to focus on these next 2 batters and try to get these next 2 outs.
Moeller with the pitch. Down low for a ball. 1-0 the count. Well, Moeller has had some control issues tonight, as evidenced by his 6 walks on the evening, but he also has 3 strikeouts. Has only given up 2 runs on 3 hits so far. One-0 pitch on the way from Moeller. And that is fouled at the plate by Archer. Archer, big lefty, gets back in the left-handed batter's box as he waits on the 1-1 pitch from Moeller. Here it comes. This is swung on and belted out to right field. Boswell will make the catch. Runner will stay put at second after a rather strong throw that time by Boswell. Carter Boswell certainly has the gun out there in the outfield. 2 gone.
And Boswell making that routine catch, but one thing he did is he stayed about three or so feet behind where the ball. And Boswell making that routine catch, but one thing he did is he stayed about three or so feet behind where the ball was about to land into his glove and stepped into the catch to make that throw.
So now it'll be up to Bill Kroll to potentially net a run here for Richmond in the bottom half of the 5th. Of course, Moeller would like nothing more than to hold the Jazz off the scoreboard once again. So that pitch is down low for a ball to Kroll. Kroll, Pennsylvania native. He has struck out looking and flied out to left. 0 for 2 on the night so far. Taking his lead off of second is Patrick Smith. Moeller looks back at second, checking the runner. Now delivers. The 1-0 is swung on and hit in the left field for a base hit. Rounding third and heading for home is Patrick Smith. It's an RBI single for Bill Kroll, and it increases the Jazz lead to 2, 3-1 in favor of Richmond.
And Kroll just found a good pitch he could hit there in the middle of the zone and just put a good swing on it, hit it out into that gap between the shortstop and third baseman with some zip on it.
Damon Maynard, the catcher, now coming to the plate for Richmond. Grounded out to the second baseman his first time up, and then had an RBI sac fly back in the third. So the runner at first, Bill Kroll. Meanwhile, Moeller back to work on the mound, and this is swung on, and it's a base hit into center field. So now back-to-back 2-out singles here by Kroll. Back-to-back 2-out singles here by Kroll and Maynard, as the Jazz are threatening to potentially add to their already 3-1 lead.
Maynard just doing a better job. Sometimes it's a saying in basketball that good offense beats good defense every time, and that's just the case there for Moeller.
So now the batter will be Robbie McGaha. McGaha has struck out swinging not once but twice tonight. 0 for 2 on the evening. Runner at first is Maynard. Runner at second is Kroll. Moeller, meanwhile, bending over at the waist, looking in for his sign. Here's the pitch, and that's outside for a ball. Boy, at this point, despite some control issues for Moeller, he's pitched pretty well. He has kept Xenia in the game, but now the Jazz looking to break this game open with a couple runners on and 2 out. Let's see if Moeller can bear down here. 1-0 pitch, down low, blocked very nicely by Jarrett Lindsey. You know, one thing that we saw during that long losing streak by the Scouts, amongst many bad things, was wild pitches and pass balls. Losing streak by the Scouts, amongst many bad things, was wild pitches and pass balls. Balls that would go to the backstop, allow runners to move up a base, come in to score from third. So far tonight, Jarrett Lindsey's been up to the task of blocking everything in front of him. He's been doing a great job behind the plate tonight for Xenia. 2-0. That is fouled. Back to the screen. 2-1 the count now. McGaha. As a catcher, you are asked to be a wall, much like a goalie in hockey. Have to be able to stop everything in front of you. And Lindsey's been up to the task so far tonight. 2-1 pitch so far tonight. 2-1 pitch. That's up high for a ball. So now it's a 3-1 count against McGaha. And Riley, boy, Moeller approaching danger time right here.
Yeah, right now he's in danger of walking McGaha, and that's what he wants to do. The Kroll and Maynard, they got on via hits, and that's fine. He made them earn it. He threw them strikes in the zone. He made them earn it, and they earned it. But what you got to do is you got to forget about that and keep making them earn it.
3-1 count, and it's up high for a ball. So the bases are now loaded. Once again for the Jazz. This is the third such time that the Jazz have had the bases loaded in a given inning. They did it back in the first, and Moeller was able to get out of it by striking out Bill Kroll. They did it in the third, and only one run came across the plate in that inning on an RBI sac fly. Can Moeller get out of this particular jam? We shall see in just a moment. He'll have to go through Riley Bertram first. Bertram, the second baseman, has walked and scored and also flied out to left. The pitch by Moeller. It's up high for a ball. 1-0 the count on Bertram. The runner at first is McGaha. The runner at second is Maynard. And the runner at third is Bill Krull.
Moeller just needs to remember he has 2 outs and he has a good defense behind him that have been very solid so far tonight. So he just needs to try to get this ball into the zone and make Bertram hit it.
1-0 pitch. A smash into left field for a base hit. 1 run comes in to score. They're waving around Maynard. He's going to come around to score as well. A 2-run single for Riley Bertram. Now a 5-1 lead for Richmond.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And that's what happens sometimes. Moeller walking a couple guys this inning, getting in a little control issues, and that's when the hits start coming for him. That's pretty much been what the story of his year for the Scouts has been. He's done good for the Scouts at times, but when he faces those control issues, then the hits just start piling on, and it just all comes down on him at once.
So we're still 2 away. The Jazz continue to bat in this inning. Jacob Burlingame, who had an RBI triple earlier in this game, comes to bat, and he'll take a ball high from the lefty Moeller. And this has been a recurring issue for the Scouts pitchers all season long, where they let these innings just snowball on them, particularly with 2 outs. It can be very discouraging for a team when you feel like you're just 1 out away, you're so close to getting out of the inning, avoiding further damage, and then a base hit just like that by Bertram, scoring a couple runs. Just adds to the frustration. Moeller looks back. Now will spin around, sliding back into second is McGaha. One-0 pitch on the way from Moeller. That's down low. Another nice block by the catcher, Jarrett Lindsay. 2-0 the count now on Burlingame. Burlingame has walked, had that aforementioned RBI triple back in the second, and grounded out to second back in the fourth.
Burlingame's been probably the most prolific hitter for the Jazz this year, and Moeller's doing himself no favors by giving them this 2-0 count. So if Moeller puts a ball pretty in the zone, you can expect Burlingame to put quite a swing on it.
2-0 pitch on the way. That is taken for a strike. 2-1 the count. Runner at first, Riley Bertram, who had a 2-out, 2-run single to help Richmond garner a 5-1 lead. Robbie McGaha, who walked earlier in this frame, he takes his lead off of second. The 2-1 pitch. Here's a bounce count on Burlingame. Tommy Bell waiting on deck for Richmond. It's already been a 3-run inning for the Jazz here in the bottom half of the fifth. Moeller, meanwhile, with the pitch. And that just missed it. Man, he was wanting that pitch in the worst way was Moeller. But the home plate umpire, Brad Fisher, didn't give it to him that time. We'll go full, 3-2.
And that was a pretty breaking ball. I'm not sure where it missed, but it looked pretty good from here. But the umpire must have thought that it didn't break in time to get into the zone.
Payoff pitch. And here's a fly ball out to center field. It will drop. Another run will cross the plate for the Jazz. Coming in to score is McGaha on an RBI single by Burlingame, his second RBI of the night. The hits, the runs, they keep on coming for the Jazz. Richmond 6, Xenia 1.
And now the runners were going on that 3-2 pitch, which really helped the Jazz score that run and get Bertram all the way over there to third.
So now 4 runs have crossed the plate for Richmond here in the bottom half of the fifth as they have effectively broken this game wide open. And now Tommy Bell will come to the plate. He becomes the 9th batter of the inning for Richmond. Bell still looking for his first hit of the night. He has grounded out to first. He has flied out to center, and he's also grounded to short. Moeller with the pitch. That's up high for a ball. Runner going and stealing easily second base is Burlingame. Richmond 6, Xenia 1. This has been a close game for the first few innings, but a 4-run fifth inning has really turned the tide here in favor of the Jazz. And there's a liner that is caught by Ben Bills. And mercifully, the inning comes to an end, but not before. 4 runs cross the plate for the Jazz. 5 innings here in the books here at McBride Stadium. It's a 6-1 lead for the Richmond Jazz here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the 6th here at McBride Stadium. A 6-1 lead now for Richmond after a 4-run outburst by the Jazz in the bottom half of the 5th. Has now come to McBride Stadium. A 6-1 lead now for Richmond after a 4-run outburst by the Jazz in the bottom half of the 5th. Has now come to the plate for Xenia's Nick Tuttle. He'll take a pitch down low from the right-hander Aaron Ernst. Ernst now quickly back to work. The 1-0. That misses the outside corner. 2-0 the count now on Tuttle, who has grounded out the third and single. 1 for 2 on the night so far. Ernst with the pitch. And that is taken for a strike on the inside corner. 2-1 the count. Nick Tuttle. So far, Ernst in 5 innings of work has given up only 1 run on 3 hits. He has struck out 3 and walked 3. As Tuttle swings and misses at a pitch down low. 2-2 the count. Nick Tuttle, one of 4 players on this senior squad, recently named to the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League All-Star Game. Tuttle swings and lofts a fly ball out to right field and making a nice running catch. In shallow right field was the second baseman, Riley Bertram. Boy, Bertram made that look effortless that time as he's able to glide on over there and make the catch for the first out.
Yeah, he had great speed going after that ball and had a great route going to it too. Just over the shoulder, just, I mean, perfect almost. He just hit a great angle on it and got the ball easily.
So now Caleb Eater will come to the plate. And by the way, in case you missed that announcement earlier in the game about all the All-Stars, as Eater swings and misses at the first pitch he sees from Ernst, 0-1 the count. Ernst with the pitch. And that's inside for a ball. 4 players from Xenia selected for the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League All-Star Game. Those players being outfielder Cam Murray, infielder Nick Tuttle, pitcher / first baseman Caleb Eater. And speaking of Eater, he takes a ball. 2-1 the count. And finally, Ryan Berlesman, who for much of the season has been playing in that designated hitter role for the Scouts. 2-1 pitches down low, so now the count will go to 3 balls and 1 strike. Now, some of you may be wondering, well, when is the All-Star Game? Where is the All-Star Game this year? Well, the All-Star Game will be held at Prasco Park in Mason, Ohio, Tuesday, July 17th of 2018, as Eater fouls it off to the right. That game is scheduled for a 7:05 start. And by the way, free admission, free parking, and concession stand involved in that. So, start game is Eater swings and misses. Strike three. He becomes the second out of the inning.
And Eater didn't look too happy with himself after that at bat. He had that 3-1 count that so many hitters love to get when they get up there, and unfortunately he struck out.
So now Ryan Bertelsmann, one of those all-stars for the Scouts, coming to the plate once again. Bertelsmann grounded into a 6-3 double play his first time up and then got a single back in the fourth. And he'll take a strike from Ernst, 0-1 the count. Lights shining brightly here at McBride Stadium. As that pitch is taken outside for a ball. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. The pitch, and that's taken on the outside for a strike. 1-1 the count. Now on Bertelsmann. And it looks as though that a right-hander is getting warmed up in the Scouts bullpen. We know Muller's pitch count is awfully high. 1-1 pitch. That's up high for a ball. And we are trying to figure out who is warming up out there. As soon as we know, we will pass it along to you. 2-1 pitch. Outside for a ball. 3-1 the count now on Ryan Bertelsmann. Bertelsmann waiting on the pitch from Ernst. He rocks and deals. That is up high for a ball. So Bertelsmann becomes a two-out base runner thanks to another walk by Ernst, his fourth of the game. And that'll now bring to the plate Zach Bacon. Zach looking to turn his luck around at the plate, at least for tonight. He has fouled out the third, and he has also struck out swinging, 0 for 2. Zach Bacon pitching beautifully in relief for the Scouts in that win over Grand Lake back on Sunday as he swings and misses. First question I asked him after we named him the player of the game was, how's your arm feeling? That's a little sore. Other than that, it's good. Bacon's been a true gamer for this Scout squad. 0-1 pitch. And the throw down to second. Bertelsmann tagged out. So a disappointing end to the inning for the Scouts as Bertelsmann is thrown out to end the frame. Scouts go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no men left on base. We head to the bottom half of 5. Xenia 1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. It's a 6-1 lead for Richmond as we head to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Alongside Riley Harshman, I'm Charlie Danis. This is Xenia Scouts Baseball here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. And speaking of the Scouts, Scouts have a new pitcher on the mound, that being the right-hander Owen Pyatt. So we'll tell you a little bit about Pyatt in just a moment. In the meantime, he takes over for Ryan Moeller. The left-hander ends up going 5 innings tonight, giving up 6 runs on 7 hits. All those runs were earned, 7 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And boy, Riley, you look back at that 5th inning, up until that frame, Moeller was looking pretty good despite some control issues, but like we have seen in this rough stretch recently, he just let it snowball, particularly with 2 outs.
Yeah, he had those 2 outs. He walked the first guy, got the next 2 outs, and then a couple hits, another walk, and another couple hits, and that's just where it snowballed for Moeller. And Moeller, we said he has control issues, and then when those control issues hit, he also gets hit, and then it just piled up on him in that 5th inning. He threw 9 pitches in the 4th and 31 in that 5th.
So now Owen Pyatt will go to work against Patrick Smith. First pitch to Smith is outside for a ball. And now Pyatt with a high leg kick in the delivery. Smith will swing and miss at that one. 1-1 the count. Well, Owen Pyatt, we've seen this guy come on in relief. And so far, the summer for this young man has not been pretty as the pitch is swung on and missed by Patrick Smith. Pyatt making his 4th appearance of the season for the Scouts. His earned run average is at an astronomical 37.79. Appearance of the season for the Scouts. His earned run average is at an astronomical 37.79. The pitch up high for a ball. 2-2 the count. Last time we saw Pyatt was back on July the 8th. He was tasked with trying to protect a 4-run lead instead. As that pitch is swung on and missed, and Pyatt's able to strike out Patrick Smith for the first out of the inning. Instead, he gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. All those runs earned only on 2 hits. Walked 4 and did not strike out a single batter in only a third of an inning. So good start here for Pyatt here in the bottom of the 6th as he strikes out the first man he sees. And now he will turn his attention to Steve Bennett.
And what Pyatt has to do here is forget those. Past 3 appearances for the Scouts. It's a new day. Got to have a short memory, quick memory here in baseball. And starting out well today with that strikeout.
Pyatt delivers, and the pitch is fouled off by Bennett. So far in this game, Richmond 5 runs on 7 hits, 1 error in the field. Meanwhile, for Xenia, Richmond 6 runs on 7 hits, 1 error in the field. So that pitch is fouled off. The reason I keep making that mistake is Richmond has 6 runs, but they only show 5 up on the scoreboard, which I find very odd. Meanwhile, for Xenia, 1 run on 3 hits, no errors in the field. 0-2 pitch upcoming here from Owen Pyatt. Pyatt with the pitch, and it's outside for a ball. 1-2 the count.
And something we've already seen different, even though Pyatt's only faced 2 batters. Something we've seen different that we didn't see those first 3 games is he's starting out with strikes. He started out this at-bat with a strike. He started out Smith's at-bat with a strike, and that just bodes well for you as a pitcher.
1-2 pitch, down low for a ball. 2-2 the count. I mean, those first couple of games for Owen Pyatt, he had a very, very tough time throwing a strike. So the fact that early on in this outing he's getting ahead of the hitters, a very good sign for Owen Pyatt. 2-2. And is up high for a ball. 3-2 the count now on Steve Bennett. Philip Archer waiting on deck for the Jazz. Again, a 6-1 lead for Richmond here at McBride Stadium. Pyatt delivers. That's up high for a ball. So Bennett walking for the 3rd time tonight. And that'll now bring to the plate Philip Archer, the Jazz first baseman. Has had mixed results at the plate tonight. He has flied out to left field. He has walked. And he's also flied out to right field. Pyatt now working from the stretch as Bennett takes his lead off of first. Pyatt throws, and it is up high for a ball. And Jared Lindsay is motioning him to try to bring the ball down a little bit, perhaps take some velocity off of some of his pitches. Pyatt, meanwhile, straightens back up on the mound. 1-0 pitch. Here's a liner out to center field, and it'll find some grass for a base hit. A single for Philip Archer up the middle. And now Richmond has something going here offensively with runners at first and second and only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
And like a lot of the big innings that the Scouts have given up this year, it starts with a walk. And the control issues for the entire Scout staff has been something we've talked about a lot, and just another theme here tonight.
So now Bill Kroll will come to the plate. Pyatt will now step off the mound as runner first, runner second retreat to their respective bases. Kroll has struck out looking. He has flied out the left, and he has also singled and scored. The pitch. Kroll hits a grounder up the middle for a base hit. They will wave around Bennett. An RBI for Bill Kroll. RBI single up the middle for the Jazz designated hitter. And now it is a 7-1 lead for the Jazz.
You know, you leave pitches over the zone up high like that, bound to get hit. And Pyatt just doing that once again here today.
Moving to second on the play was Philip Archer. Pyatt, meanwhile, still working out there on the mound. His first pitch to David Maynard is way high. In fact, Maynard had to crouch out of the way of that one. Otherwise, he would have gotten hit in the noggin. 1-0 count on Damon Maynard. The pitch is down low for a ball. Boy, Damon Maynard, the catcher, apparently has been crouching a lot because I am looking at his white pants right now, and they are the exact same color as the infield here at McBride Stadium. I mean, those things are dirty right now.
That's how you know as a catcher you're doing your job. You're making sure nothing gets by you if you're dropping down your knees a lot.
2-0 pitch misses, so now it's a 3-0 count on Maynard. Boy, I feel sorry for the person who has to wash those pants tonight, though. It's going to be a long, long night for that individual. 3-0 pitch in there for a strike. Riley, do you remember a player by the name of Ryan Friel for the Cincinnati Reds?
I do remember Ryan Friel.
For those of you who don't know who Ryan Friel was a utility man for the Reds, and he played with a Pete Rose-like fervor on the baseball field as his pitches fouled off from behind the plate. Friel was widely known for getting his jersey dirty because of his all-out hustle on the field. Didn't matter if it was dirt stains, didn't matter if it was grass stains. Chances are Ryan Friel, whether it was diving after a ball, trying to steal a bag, he would get his Reds uniform dirty. As this is a grounder over to short. Throw to second in time, throw to first is not in time as Maynard is able to reach on a fielder's choice. Being eliminated at second base on the play is Bill Kroll. 2 gone now in the inning. 6-4. That's how Archer is eliminated at second. Meanwhile, Maynard reaching on the fielder's choice, and that'll bring Bobby McGaw to the plate. Well, anyway, I remember when Friel, while he was still playing with the Reds, this is no joke, the Reds did a promotion for a dirty Ryan Friel jersey. Reds fans loved Ryan Friel because he would always hustle and he would always give his all out there on the field. It was so tragic to hear the news years ago when Friel passed away, committed suicide. Apparently too many concussions. But Ryan Friel, one of those players I remembered as a kid while growing up rooting for the Reds, one of the guys that I really enjoyed watching. 1-0 pitch. And this is thrown down the second, runner going, and he is out at second. Nice throw by Jarrett Lindsey that time as he's able to nail Damon Maynard, and that will end the inning for the Jazz. But one run does cross the plate for Richmond on a couple of base hits. We head to the top half of the seventh here in Richmond. A 7-1 lead for the Jazz here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Richmond Jazz as the Scouts come to bat here in the top half of the 7th. Ben Pinnegar, a right-hander out of Zionsville, Indiana, one of 3 natives of Zionsville, Indiana. That makes sense since Richmond is a team situated in the Hoosier State. 6'1", 188-pound junior out of Maryville University. Pinnegar making his 3rd appearance of the season for Richmond. 1-0 with a 9.00 earned run average, and in 4 innings of work, he has struck out 5 and walked nothing. He enters this game with the Jazz already leading the Scouts by a score of 7-1. The first of a short 2-game set between both these teams here in Richmond. And the series finale, that will be tomorrow night. First pitch scheduled for 7:05, and we hope that you will join us for another presentation of Xenia Scouts on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network that particular evening. Wednesday night baseball, emanating from McBride Stadium here in Richmond. In the meantime, we got a Tuesday night tilt between both of these teams, and the Scouts, well, they need to put a round together going here and pretty soon. Otherwise, they might be headed for a loss as that pitch is taken for a strike by Zach Bacon. Bacon has fouled out to third and struck out swinging his last time up, so he's officially 0 for 2 on the night. So Pinnegar takes over on the mound for the Jazz. And his pitch is lined into center field. It'll be cut by the center fielder Burlingame for the first out. Zach gave that baby a pretty good ride, but Burlingame was right there to make the catch for the first out of the frame. So with Pinnegar taking over on the mound, that will end the day for Aaron Ernst. And you know what? Ernst went out there and did his job. 6 innings, 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 4, and walked 4. So Pinnegar and the rest of that Jazz bullpen will look to close the deal here. Meanwhile, the Scouts, they need base runners as Jared Lindsay will come to the plate. Lindsay has grounded out twice, once to shortstop and once to third base. Here, meanwhile, the Scouts, they need base runners as Jared Lindsay will come to the plate. Lindsay has grounded out twice, once to shortstop and once to third base. 0 for 2 on the night.
Yeah, Scouts definitely need some base runners, and one thing they can do is be a little more patient at the plate, try to see some more pitches, try to dig into this bullpen.
As that pitch is taken on the outside corner for a call strike, Lindsay in a 2-strikes-to-nothing count now. Jared Lindsay now stepping back into the right-handed batter's box. As Pinnegar, the right-hander, rocks and deals. And that pitch just missing the outside corner. The 1-2. Inside for a ball. 2-2 the count on Jared Lindsay. Infield, outfield, playing Lindsay pretty much straight away. The 2-2 from Pinnegar. Lindsay swings and strikes out. 2 gone.
And that's just been the story of the day for the Scouts offense so far. It's been quick outs pretty much all around. They had couple innings where they made it a fight, but other than that, it's been all Jazz.
5th time that a Scouts batter has struck out tonight as Ben Bills steps in. He'll take a ball from Pinnegar. Bills has singled and walked so far on the night. Right-handed Bills waiting on the 1-0 pitch, and that's in their first strike. 1-1 the count. Pinnegar with the pitch. That's down low. Scoreboard says 1-1, but I'm pretty sure Ben Bills has a 2-1 count. The pitch. Bill swings, grounder over to short. Boy, this will be a tough play and almost made, but the throw actually pulled the first baseman off the bag that time. Great effort by Tommy Bell, but wasn't able to nip Bills on that play. Wonder how they're going to score that one.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to score because Bills made it very, tough to get him out there with his speed going down the first baseline.
They have officially scored a hit. So the second time that Bills has tallied a hit in this game. He owns half of the hits tonight for the Scouts. So the two-out batter now will be Carter Boswell. Pitch taken on the outside corner for a strike. Boswell has flied out to left field, and he's also walked. So Bills with 2 singles on the night. Bertelsmann has a single back in the 4th. As the pitch, Boswell swings, and that'll be a grounder. Over to short. Throw to first will be in time for the final out of the inning. No runs, a hit, a man left on base for the Scouts. Stretch time here in Richmond, Indiana. We head to the bottom half of the 7th with the Jazz leading the Scouts 7-1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Bottom half of the 7th here at McBride Stadium. A 7-1 lead for the Richmond Jazz. Scouts have not been able to do all that much offensively here tonight here in Richmond, as they've only able to be tallied 1 run on 4 hits. Owen Pyatt back to work on the hill for the Scouts, and he'll deliver a first pitch strike to Robbie McGaha, who has struck out swinging twice and has also walked and scored in this game. The pitch, and McGaha fouls it back. 1-1 the count. Meanwhile, Richmond, 6 runs, 9 hits for the home team.
Partner, I'm looking at the batter right now, and his number is 11. That might be Jared Wolf, the lefty.
So a pinch hitter here, actually. So Wolf will foul it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You see, folks, it always pays to have a couple extra eyes up here in the booth. Thank you, partner. Wolf batting from the left side. 1-2 pitch. That's outside for a ball. 2-2 the count. So Wolf ends up being the leadoff man. Owen Pyatt with the pitch. And here's a grounder up the middle. Oh, nice play. Throw over to first in time. Nick Tuttle sliding to his left and completing the throw over to first in time. 1 gone in the inning. Beautiful play by Tuttle.
Yeah, Tuttle, not normally a shortstop, but doing a great job of shading over to his left, sliding, getting that play, and making a great throw over to first. Everyone forgets there's 2 parts to a great play, making the grab and throwing it over.
Boy, Nick Tuttle, he continues to be a bright spot for this scout squad, both from a hitting and a fielding standpoint. As the pitch to Riley Bertram is outside for a ball. Well, actually, this might be Bertram wears number 19.
He's wearing 19 today.
Okay. Usually goes by 18 as he takes another pitch outside from Pyatt. 2-0 the count. Bertram has walked and scored, flied out to left field, and has also singled in this game. The pitch. And Bertram swings, and it's a fly ball Out to right field. Boswell under it, and Boswell making the catch for the second out of the frame.
And, another thing that play by Tuttle does is gives your pitcher confidence. As a pitcher, as Owen Pyatt is now, you see your shortstop making a great play like that. It's got to give you some confidence. Like, the fielders doing everything they can to keep you in the game.
Jacob Burlingame. He's had quite the game here today in Richmond. He has walked and RBI triple back in the second, grounded out to second in the fourth, and then an RBI single back in the fifth, as he takes a pitch outside from Owen Pyatt. Well, if there is one positive to take away from this game, Owen Pyatt has been much more effective coming out of that Scouts bullpen, as he will deliver, and that is outside for a ball.
And he's been getting help from his fielders. Like I said, Tuttle there. Lindsey also throwing out a guy to end last inning. And that's what it takes. It's a team out there.
That pitch is up high for a ball. There's that old adage, trust your defense.
Sometimes pitchers forget it. They are just up there by themselves with a batter, but they also got 8 guys behind them.
3-0 pitch is up high for a ball. Burlingame with his second walk of the night and the 4th time that he has reached base. Boy, Jake Burlingame just continues to have a great game here tonight, kind of a microcosm of the great season that he has had for the Jazz here in 2018. So now Tommy Bell will come to the plate, and the Jazz shortstop, one of the few players in this Jazz lineup that has yet to get a hit in this affair. He is 0 for 4 on the night, lined out to third his last time up. Probably the hardest hit ball that he has hit all night, but went right into the glove of Ben Bills. 1-0 count after a ball thrown by Owen Pyatt. Pyatt, meanwhile, with the high leg kick and the pitch, that's down low for a ball. So now the count is 2-0 on Tommy Bell.
And after starting out this inning with those 2 quick outs, Burlingame's thrown 6 straight balls.
Trying to relocate the strike zone is Pyatt. Relocate the strike zone is Pyatt. The pitch. That's up high. 3-0 the count. And sometimes you can just look at a player's body language to see either elation or frustration. And right now, the latter is being experienced by Owen Pyatt. Here's the 3-0. And that is in there for a strike. So now it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count on Tommy Bell. Patrick Smith, meanwhile, waiting on deck for Richmond. Pyatt with the pitch. And here's a pop-up. Shallow left field. Making the play is Carson Wright. And that is how the inning will end for the Jazz. No runs, no hit. A man is left on base for Richmond. We head to the top half of the 8th here at McBride Stadium, with Richmond still well ahead of Xenia 7-1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Top half of the 8th here at McBride Stadium. It's a 7-1 lead for the Richmond Jazz. Richmond trying to take game 1 of the short 2-game set between the Scouts and the Jazz, and we're so glad that those of you out there stuck it out with us. We And about an hour and 15 rain delay that held things up at the beginning of the night, but we have been able to get baseball in tonight here in Richmond. Unfortunately for the Scouts, haven't had a lot of highlights offensively, as this pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate by Cam Murray, 0-1 the count. The Scouts tallying 1 run, that coming on a wild pitch by Ernst, the right-hander. Nick Tuttle scoring from third on the play, as that pitch is high inside, and Murray has to duck out of the way of that one. 1-1 the count. And that came all the way back in the fourth.
If the Scouts are going to come back, it's going to have to start now with the top of the order. Got Cam Murray, you got Tuttle up this inning.
And Cam, not a good start right there as he pops it up. This will be shallow right, and it'll be handled by the second baseman, Riley Bertram, for the first out.
You know, even though Cam can't get on, if Carson Wright could get on, we know Carson Wright can steal bases and move. Tuttle's been a great hitter and does great moving on the base paths. You got Eater, who's been hitting quite a few extra base hits this past week or so. Then Burlesman, who's been a great hitter all year. I mean, the comeback's got to start now. You got to get base runners so those guys can drive each other in.
Carson Wright struck out looking his first time up, strike out swinging his second time up, and then a ground out victim his third time up. This time Carson with a base hit into center field. Perfect left-handed swing right there. Is Wright able to make contact and shoot it into center field for a base knock, his first hit of the night.
Carson Wright took a little bit of leave of absence from the Scouts this past week, and this is his first game back. And, you know, we've seen a little rust those first 3 at-bats, but right there, wasting no time in getting his hit.
So now they'll bring Nick Tuttle to the plate. Tuttle 1 for 3 on the night with a single. And as we mentioned, Tuttle scoring the only run of the night so far for the Scouts, scoring on a wild pitch from third back in the fourth. And that was after he had advanced to third on a throwing error by the pitcher Ernst. The pitch, and it is fouled off by Nick Tuttle. So we got the game here tomorrow night at McBride Stadium beginning at 7:05. And then for Xenia, the start of a long homestand over at Grady's Field. And we'll give you the details on that in just a moment. 0-1 pitch, grounded up the third base line, fair. Throw to first will be in time. Just getting beat was Nick Tuttle. Tuttle thought he had that beat out for a second, but he will ultimately go down as a 5-3 ground-out victim for the second time tonight. 2 gone here in the top half of the 8th.
The Scouts only have 4 outs left to play with for the rest of this game, but we've seen them do quite a bit of damage on teams with 2 outs, and let's see what Eater can do here with Wright on second.
Eater, meanwhile, he has walked, he has grounded out to short, and he's also struck out swinging. The pitch to Eater. And that is in there for a strike. And speak of the devil, Riley, we were actually talking about this guy during the break. It looks like Sam Drawley is warming up in the bullpen for the Scouts. He hasn't pitched since July the 5th. That is up high for a ball.
That could really help out this Scouts bullpen if Sam could come in and get a quick 8th. Would really help the Scouts bullpen later this week because they can save Pyatt's arm and Sam's as well.
1-1 pitch meanwhile. And that is up high for a ball.
With the right-handed batter and Eater up, we've seen Carson Wright steal third quite a few times this year. Don't be surprised to see him try to take it here, especially with that big backstop that could score him on a wild pitch if he gets there.
Eater waiting on the 2-1 pitch. Here it comes. And did he check his swing? Yes, he did, upon further review. Eater back into the right-handed batter's box. The pitch. That's down low, and Eater, for the second time tonight, earns himself a walk, bringing Ryan Burlesman to the plate. So I made mention of this, the upcoming schedule for the Scouts. So they have a another road game. They play another game against the Jazz here in Richmond tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch. And then a whole bunch of home games for the boys from Xenia. Sort of a two-gamer with Lake Erie. As this pitch is swung on, and Bertelsmann with a hard shot over to short. And he will be a 6-3 ground-out victim as Tommy Bell turns in another sparkling play over there for the Jazz. Well, we'll talk more about the Scouts' upcoming schedule in the next half inning as we head to the bottom half of the eighth. It's a 7-1 lead for the Richmond Jazz here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. Owen Pyatt still out there on the mound for the Scouts. As we head to the bottom half of the eighth here at McBride Stadium. 7-1 lead for the Richmond Jazz. And coming to the plate now for Richmond is Patrick Smith. Smith, the right fielder, has singled, doubled and scored, walked and scored, and struck out swinging. And the first pitch he sees from Pyatt is a ball. 1-0 count now, and Smith swings and misses at that one. 1-1 the count. Boy, Owen Pyatt looks like a completely different pitcher coming out of the Scouts bullpen. There have been outings where he had a very tough time finding the strike zone, but much more sharp in this particular outing as he gets ahead of Smith following the swing and the miss. 1-2 the count on Smith.
It all starts with the fastball command for Pyatt. That's really where he's been struggling since he became a scout, but right now he's been working with his fastball very well.
1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Strike three. So Smith, for the second time tonight, becomes a strikeout victim. One gone here in the inning, and that'll bring Steve Bennett to the plate.
Now we're seeing Pyatt shake some of the rust off, and we're seeing him get into a groove and find a little niche.
And Bennett will hit a ground ball in the left field for a base knock. Bringing Philip Archer to the plate. Bennett reaching base, by the way, for the fourth time tonight. His previous three times he reached base were all via a walk. And now Archer looking to add another hit to his tally. He had a single back in the sixth inning. Pyatt, meanwhile, delivers a ball up high. So we were talking about this in the last half inning about the upcoming schedule. Game against, as the 1-0 is swung on and missed. 1-1 the count. 2 games set against the Lake Erie Monarchs beginning on the 12th. That'll go through the 13th. And then another 2 game set, this time involving the Galleon Graders on the 14th and the 15th. And now Jason Lester is walking out to the mound to check on Owen Pyatt. It looks like a pitching change is going to be made right here. And Sam Drawley will come in for the Scouts. So we'll tell you about Sam Drawley and talk more about the upcoming schedule for the Scouts after this quick timeout. The Jazz batting in the bottom half of the eighth. Richmond leading Xenia 7-1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Scouts as Sam Drawley comes back onto the hill for the Scouts for the first time since July the 5th. Drawley last pitched in that doubleheader involving the Scouts and the Southern Ohio Copperheads on the season. Sam 1-1 with 11.57 earned run average, making his 13th appearance of the season for the Scouts. Does have 4 saves on the year, 21 innings pitched. He has struck out 19 and walked 16. Meanwhile, it's a 1-1 count on Philip Archer. And Drawley comes in for Owen Pyatt, who, boy, Riley, look back at what Pyatt was able to do tonight. Night and day compared to his last couple of appearances.
Yeah, he just had I said it earlier, fastball command was a lot better than it has been. And he just had a lot more confidence off of that. And he was just able to be a lot more loose up there on the mound and was able to get outs.
So now Sam will go to work. Gets up there on the pitching rubber. Working on a 1-1 count with Philip Archer. Drawley with the pitch. And it is promptly lined into center field for a base hit. As Cam will let that one land right in front of him. So now a couple runners on base here for the Jazz. Bennett at second, Archer at first after his single. Back-to-back singles by both of those gentlemen. And now Bill Kroll, the designated hitter, will come to the plate. Kroll has singled twice. His latest hit coming back in the 6th inning. The pitch by Sam. Swung on and missed. 0-1 the count on Kroll. Altogether, Kroll's put together a 2-for-4 night with those couple of singles. Looking to add to the ledger here. The pitch. That's up high for a ball. 1-1 the count. And by the way, just to finish up the point about the Scouts' schedule, go ahead and come on out. We got plenty of home games upcoming here. Always a fun time at Grays Field. Admission is free. And I know you folks out there love that word, free, F-R-E-E, as in you don't have to pay a single cent to get into the ballpark. Concession stand will be open. And Lord willing, we will have good weather for those games. 2-1 pitch. Drawley steps off. And now both runners will move up. Did they call a balk on him?
They must have. I think the runner on second, Bennett, moved a little bit before Sam actually made any move towards the mound, and Sam stepped off with the wrong foot.
So Kroll with a definite RBI opportunity here. 2-1. Here's a bouncer over to Tuttle. Scouts will concede the run as it'll be a 6-3 putout. Kroll thrown out at first. 2 gone as Bennett comes in to score on the play. It's now an 8-1 lead for Richmond. 2 gone as Bennett comes in to score on the play. It's now an 8-1 lead for Richmond. So an RBI ground out by Kroll. And now Damon Maynard will come to the plate. Maynard on the night is grounded out to second. RBI sac fly in the 3rd. Single that scored in the 5th. And a fielder's choice back in the 6th. Drawley already with an 0-1 count after throwing it past Maynard. The pitch. Maynard swings and sends a grounder over to third. This should end the inning, and it does. 5-3 put out right there for Maynard. Ends the frame for the Jazz, but Richmond is able to tack on yet another run on a couple of hits. We head to the top half of the 9th. Richmond looking to close out the Scouts. Jazz leading the Scouts 8-1 here on the Xenia Scouts Radio Network. New pitcher on the mound for the Jazz. It is the Zionsville, Indiana native James Meyer. Now on the mound for the Richmond Jazz, 6'2", 200-pound junior out of Valparaiso University, making his second appearance of the season. And he is hoping for a better appearance in this game. Last pitched on June the 27th against Grand Lake. Only lasted 2/3 of an inning, giving up 4 runs, all of them earned on 4 hits, while walking 3 and not striking out a single batter. It's an 8-1 lead for Richmond as the Scouts come to bat here for perhaps the final time tonight. They need base runners. They need to put a rally going here, or get a rally going, I should say. Zach Bacon will be the one who will lead things off for Xenia.
When you're down 7 runs, you got to realize that you're not going to change that with just one swing of the bat. You got to try to do it one batter at a time, one pitch at a time.
That pitch is taken for a strike. 0-1 the count. Call the night off for Pinniger, the right-hander, by the way. He goes 2 innings, no runs on 2 hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. The pitch by Meyer. And that's just outside for a ball. Bacon on the night has fouled out to third. He has struck out swinging, and he has also flied out to center. Working on an 0-for-3 evening. 1-1 pitch. Bacon swings and misses at that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bacon, Lindsay, and Bills, the scheduled hitters for the Scouts. So far, Xenia has had a tough time getting anything going offensively. Only 1 run on 5 hits tonight. The pitch. It's a grounder. Out to second. Bare hand play gets past the second baseman. Bertram was trying to bare hand that ball over to first, but it sneaks under his hand, and Bacon is able to reach safely.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go to the bare hand on those dribblers, especially when you're running out of time. And he was second baseman unable to make that play.
So Bacon reached up. Go ahead and give an error to Bertram, E4. Jared Lindsay, meanwhile, the catcher taking a ball from Meyer. Now Meyer quickly back at it here. He'll look at that runner at first. Now he'll deliver the 1-0. Now Meyer quickly back at it here. He'll look at that runner at first. Now he'll deliver the 1-0.